Okay. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today I thought to, jump on the bandwagon and do a get to know me tag. And I decided I'll just do it in the form of like listing a bunch of things you may not know about me. It's kind of like 25 things, so sorry. But yeah, I mean, just to get to know me a little bit more. Obviously, I'm not gonna spill all my tea or all the beans of my life. But I've got a few things that, you might want to know, so stay tuned. Okay, so as I've said, I got a bit carried away, and I just like, I'd be sitting and be like, oh yeah, this is something people may not know, this is something people may not know. So I just listed, and it just got to probably like 25. But we'll run through them as quickly as we can. And it's in no order, like I was just typing, so some things may relate to others, just go on this journey with me, guys. So number one, I have eczema. Well, more like when I was younger, I had it really bad, especially on my legs. So if you actually look closely, I do have a bit of scarring, but the older I've gotten, it's like kind of faded away, or I grew out of it. I used to get it like on my arms here, on my wrists, and then I think on my elbow, a lot on my legs, sometimes on my face, so I get like a fine rash. But for now, like I think with perfume, sometimes I just feel here it gets sensitive and I just put a bit of rash cream. But yeah, I have eczema. Another thing is that I'm terrified of snakes. Like, I am terrified of snakes. I cannot deal with them. And actually I have a story where it was just like really ridiculous. When my brother was like 2 years old, I was chilling in my parents' room by a computer. This was when we were still living in Swaziland, and there was a door basically that led to outside, and Manzi was like playing, he's like crawling around me, being a cute little annoying brother, just there in my business. And then like he just went quiet for a bit, and I'm like, what is he doing? Guys, when I say I turned around and this kid was picking up one of those grass snakes. He picked up the snake, held it. I turned, I hit his hand, grabbed him, I started screaming, I was going crazy. Then one of our helpers came, she's like, Tamara, what's going on? I'm like, there's a snake. And then guys, I don't know how to relate this to America, but my Southern Africans, or my Africans, if you know what doom is, it's for insects. And my helper came and brought doom, and I'm like, what's doom gonna do to the snake? And we're all like freaking out, and the snake like disappeared. And imagine, my parents even slept in the room that night whilst the snake was there. Then the next day when I was sitting at the computer again, I heard a noise and the snake was on the floor. But basically, I do not mess with snakes. Like, I'm just not about that life. Another thing I am terrified of are storms. Like, I'm seriously like, I really get very anxious when there's storms. And I think it's because when we were younger, like one of our helpers was also very terrified. Oh my gosh, she used to come in the house, because our lights would go off when there was usually a storm, because Swaziland storms are pretty bad, and she would come in and cry and like just be so scared. And then I used to sit with her and I'd be so scared. And then ever since then, like, I remember one time I was walking, this was like during my A-levels, outside, and then storm just like struck something, lightning struck something, and I just froze and tears just came down, and one of my friends could tell. She's like, okay, Tam, let's go, let's find somewhere to just, hide out. And I was just so terrified. So when I lived alone, one of the things I hated the most in Johannesburg was when there were storms, and especially when they woke me up in the middle of the night, and I was just like, bruh. And then I'd also be scared to put earphones in my ears. I'm like, what if the lightning will strike me through my earphones? So yeah, I do not mess with storms. I have never broken any bones, which is a-okay. But another thing you may not know about me is I've sprained my left ankle probably like 4 or 5 times, and I think all those times I never really went to get any medical assistance, so my ankle's just probably gotten weaker and weaker throughout the years. I've had 2 operations. I took my appendix out and I had a laparoscopy. So one when I was 9 and another one when I was 21. I don't drink coffee. I don't really drink it. Yeah, I stopped drinking coffee in like 2012 because I have hypothyroidism and they said caffeine, you know, affects it a lot. So I'm like, you know what, the fact that I'm, that's actually another one, I won't mention that now. But I was like, okay, let me just cut out some caffeine, and ever since then, I haven't really drunk it. Maybe a year I'll have 1 or 2 cups. This year I've had 1 cup of coffee, so yeah, I probably won't have one until like the end of the year. But yeah, this is what I didn't want to mention yet because it's also another thing you may not know about me. But trust me, a lot of people close to me, or not even close because I'm always talking about it, know that I am addicted to chocolate. Like, guys, when I say, you know, everybody, I'll be like, guys, like I'm being serious. Like I'll be like, guys, yeah, you know, I have a serious addiction with chocolate. And I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, me too. Like, I'm like, guys, you don't understand my levels of chocolate addiction. You know, Cadbury chocolate, like, I don't know, here in the States they don't have Cadbury's. Chocolate is not nice here. Anyways, you know, you like your normal slabs in SA or like even the UK, you'll have normal Cadbury. I like chocolate and nuts specifically. And then you get those huge ones. Now, your girl could eat one of them probably every day. I don't do it, but I could. And it's like the only form of junk food that doesn't make me sick, because usually I have like, I think it's acid reflux because I struggle to eat things that are very oily or too like junky, and then I just throw up. So yeah, chocolate guys. When I say addiction, I'm not talking, oh my gosh, yeah, I just like to, no. I mean, mans cannot live without it. Like I have to consciously think to not eat it, you know? Also, this is kind of weird. And you know, when you're so used to something that's just like normal to you, but then like when you show it to other people, they're like, how are you doing that? But I've like, since I can remember, I can like trigger twitching on my nose. And you know, I was like, should I really show you how do I do this? Because it's so weird. But I'm gonna show you. Let me get all nice and close. But so I can trigger on both sides, and then it'll just start going. Like I'll do something once, it'll just go. So I'm not doing that. And then I can stop it. So it's just a strange thing that I've just done all my life. So I don't know why I can do it, but I can do it. I'm also terrified of owls, and it's like the most random thing, and you hardly find owls. Like I've seen a few in my life, but I am terrified of them. And I don't know, I think it may have started with that movie The Fourth Kind, because I just thought it was like a crazy movie. And I know like eventually came out like, you know, those tapings weren't really true, blah blah blah, but still I lived in that movie and it was terrible. And I remember one time, like last year, 2016, I think I was with my cousins, and we were like at Wembley Station or something. And then when we got out, guys, whew, it even gives me goosebumps right now. I looked up and like it looked like there was an owl sitting on some ledge or something. And I, for the life of me, could not figure out if it was a statue or a real owl. And I was getting so freaked out. I don't think I was even mentioning to my cousin, like tears were coming in my eyes. I was like, oh my gosh. I was terrified, like terrified. And also, on top of that, when I was studying at the University of York, there were geese, there were ducks, there were all sorts of birds everywhere. And when they were in like mating season or whatever, and when they had their babies, guys, those things were so aggressive. I got chased. And do you know, I actually have a few videos, I might pop them in, like where I started, because I'll tell people I'm terrified, so I started to take Snapchats when every time I pass them, I'm like, guys, these things, like, they attack. And guess what? They attacked me like twice on video. I kid you not, but I just got attacked by those fucking geese. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. What the fuck? It's coming for us. And Seppo's not even scared. Seppo, I'm not going. Wait, let me stand here. But ever since then, like, I've actually become scared of birds. Like, when I'm on the beach and all those seagulls flying everywhere, I don't like them near me at all. So I'm not a fan of birds. I get super anxious when other people drive. I feel like if I'm not watching the road, if I look away, like something bad's gonna happen. and it's definitely because like I was in an accident when I was really young, and it just made me extremely anxious. Like, guys, me learning to drive was just something else, because in my mind, even though I know it's not rational thinking, I'm just like, oh my gosh, if I drive, I'm gonna be in an accident, blah, blah, blah. And then yeah, so on to the next thing you don't know about me is that I failed my driving test like 3 times. Jesus, I passed on the 4th time. But you know, in SA, they also, they just like to fail. I feel like they also just felt bad for me. Like when I came the 4th time, they were just like, ah, shame, just take your driver's license. But now I've been driving for years now, like going on maybe 5 years or something. So I'm good, but I'm still, even now that I'm only comfortable when I drive, and now that like, I think it got a bit better, but still when I'm in a car, I'm just like, ah, like don't kill me. Yeah, also in high school, I feel like a lot of people might be shocked by this, but I was extremely like punk rocker type style. I added like sass to it, or like, you know, I dressed with like a lot of, I used to wear like these gloves with skulls all over them. Like me and my sister went through a phase where we were obsessed with skulls, like goth and like punk, and I'd mix up the 2 styles. And you know, I used to listen to like a lot of rock music, and I still do, like I still love it, like alternative music. So yeah, your girl is very diverse when it comes to music, I can tell you that much. Like there are people who listen to music, and then there are people like me who live through music, and that is just like facts. So yeah, I was extremely punk rock. I might try find some pictures just to pop it. So for a very long time, I didn't know that pickles were just like pickled cucumbers. I did not know that, and maybe I will be corrected, but apparently that's what they are. So I didn't know that for a very long time. I also used to hate avocado, and I know people are gonna be like, what? Avocado? I hated it. I could not eat it. The only time I could maybe have it was like in sushi or something. Other than that, I was not about that avo life. And even in Swaziland, guys, we had a full avocado tree, and our dogs were so fat because all they did was eat the avocados when they're in season. And back then, all of us, like my whole family, we never really used to eat avocados. Then we moved to the States, still no avocados. But then last year, I went to Ecuador for a month, and they love avocados. And I remember even when I first got there, I was kind of like, no, I don't like avocado. Then it was just always there, so I was like, I don't want to keep saying no. And I started eating, I'm like, you know what? This is actually really good. So ever since then, I've been eating it, and I love it now. And I'm just thinking, like, back home, we had a whole tree in the backyard, 10 to 15 avocados daily. And now we're out here in the States, we decide to eat it, paying like $5 just for two avocados. Nah, fam, we should have taken advantage of it. So yeah, your girl likes avos now. So I really like to dance. Like, I'm that girl that I go with my heels, and I will not go anywhere without flats, because once I'm done with heel time, the flats come on and I continue. What's going on? See what happens? I don't use strong enough glue to put that thing away. Sorry, people. Yeah, I love to dance, and that's why I like to go out, and I like to like dress up and stuff. Like, I'm not going to pop bottles, do nothing of that. I just love to dance, and the environment I get that in is in the club and stuff. So you know, I'm out there like I'm all about it. Now, like, the older I'm getting, like, I've slowed down just because, like, my body can't do it every weekend no more. Like, I get tired, but trust me, I get that itch in my leg. Or, you know, now and then I'm like, guys, I'm trying to call up people, like, guys, please be about this life too. Just be about this life this weekend with me and come dance with me. Go out dance with me. But yeah, I love to dance. I also used to wear contact lenses in high school, like purple, green. I remember, like, when they came in, like, fashion. Don't know why I did that. I'll try to find a picture. I don't know if I can find one, but yeah, I was on that contact lens hype. So I only speak one language. Yes, only one language. I went to schools where English was only spoken. I went to schools where you were punished if you spoke any other language outside of English in an African country. My parents come from 2 different backgrounds. So mom's Zimbabwean, my dad is South African Swazi. So when they married, obviously the common language was English. And I mean, my mom eventually learned Siswati, but we never spoke it at home. So yeah, I just speak one language. And please do not try that, oh, you're not a real African. I'm always like, sorry, do you know my story? Like, do you know me? Like, who do you think you are telling me what I... Like, people love to tell you what you are. Like, they don't want to hear what you have to say about yourself. They just like to tell you. So, honey, I am as African as any other African. Don't come at me with that, but yes, I only speak one language. Also, when I was younger, I used to make clay ornaments. So we lived in Swaziland, and like there was a little like community village type thing up the road, and there was a river or something around there, and there was like clay, like natural clay that was built. So sometimes like the security guards, one of my security guards who I was really close to, he would bring me some clay, and I used to make clay ornaments. And then whenever family members would come home, or my mom's friends, I'd whip out my box of ornaments and be like, yo, are you finna buy some clay ornaments or not? And yeah, man, I've been an entrepreneur for years. I used to even find amazing rocks and sell, like guys, when I say amazing, I'll find these white rocks with like a green band, and I saved them for many years, but when we moved, all that stuff got lost. But I used to like, yeah, clay ornaments and collecting rocks and then trying to sell them. Also, when I was younger, I used to collect bugs and put them in finished ice cream containers, poke holes, put some grass and keep them under my bed. And then every day I'd wake up to see what they've been eating, and then they'd die, and I'm sorry. But I was young, I was just like, I just want my bugs under the bed, you know. And after that, like, yeah, I grew out of it eventually, but man, I used to collect bugs, pick up shongololos. What's shongololo in English? Millipede. Yeah, millipedes, grasshoppers. I didn't like crickets because I couldn't really grab them, whereas a grasshopper you can just grab by the feet and, you know. And yeah, also, this is the last one. This is the last one. So one time, this is not even a get to know me tag, it's just a funny story. One time, I think I was about like 9 or 10, and I used to have these shoes, kind of like, oh, this is convenient, these type where, you know, it's closed in the front and then open here, and they were black, and we used to call them magumus. I don't know why, me and my sister, I don't know where we got this name from, and I used to wear them a lot. And then one time I put my foot inside that shoe, and I'm like, there's something squishy in here. I took my foot out, I shook the no, I didn't shake it, I looked in, guys. There was a frog staring back at me, and I lost it. I started screaming and crying. I'm like, there's a frog in the shoe! And my mom comes running, what's wrong, what's wrong, what's wrong? I'm like, Mom, there's a frog in my shoe. And like, I just will never forget this expression on the face. Like, you know, when you're so confused and you're like, what do you mean? And like, you like start laughing too. She's like, I'm sorry. And I was like, that frog. And I was crying. Oh my gosh, it was just terrible. But basically, I don't like frogs. I just do not like frogs too. And yeah, last one I guess is that I have 3 siblings. So we're a family of 4, 2 girls, 2 boys. The boys are younger, and I have an older sister. And I think like that's about as far I'm going to go for today. Maybe I'll do a part 2. But I mean, that's all I could think. Oh, this is what I forgot to mention is I suffer from sleep paralysis, guys. That ish is so real. The first time it happened to me, it was in like 2013, and I was like, bruh, I need Jesus. I went to church. I was like, guys, please pray for me, because there's something trying to come for me in my sleep, because I keep trying to wake up, I can't talk, because as soon as I'm in danger, I just automatically want to pray, and I couldn't even say anything. So, you know, it scared me for a very long time, but now I'm like used to it. I haven't actually had it for a couple of months, which is pretty good. But yeah, I do struggle with sleep paralysis. And I feel like now that I've spoken about it, it might happen tonight, but I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, that's it, guys. I hope you enjoy that. I hope that's a bit informative about who I am, you know. And yeah, I will catch you at my next video. I hope you do enjoy it. If you did enjoy it, please do give it a thumbs up. And yeah, I will catch you at my next video. Thank you. Don't forget to subscribe.